Welcome to a surprise live on my end. We were doing it on Dr. Sweta's channel, but we flow. It's all about problem solving. How do we feel being in places that are uncomfortable when things don't go our way? And this actually is a bridging point to the topic that we're going to talk about, Dr. Sweta. So now we're in my channel and
Absolutely.
everything perfect. Dr. Sweta, for me, you've been such a role model. I've been blessed to be in different events, 3 events now with you in Dubai. And every time I hear you and every time you get on stage or I follow you on social media, you have definitely left a footprint in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit. The way you speak and share such a could be challenging topic, the brain, and you make it so easy, understandable. I love your whole analogy of the plumber of the brain. And I have recommended your work near and far because everybody needs to learn about the brain, but then sometimes we just resist it, and you make it so accessible. So add to your introduction so that people know who you are, and then we'll share why we're here and get everybody excited.
Sure. Wonderful. So Val, I will not be able to beat Val's energy. Val's energy is amazing. She is an energy person. She heals. She talks. She does some wonderful work with inner dance and all in all, not about the work, but she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. I think the human entire existence is all about getting at the best of what you can give out to the world, getting at what you can offer to the world. So for me, it was always a romance with the brain. Everything about me is all about the brain. But I would like to share that knowledge because this wonderful brain, I mean, just I was sharing on that live video, possibly where no one was listening. So it's a good time to refurbish and refresh this knowledge. There are 100 billion neurons. It's like a galaxy of stars. If I were to count the total number of the neurons, it is going to take me every single day 36 long years to count, and trillions of synapses, 2.5 petabyte of memory, which means I have to stack the entire Burj Khalifa with that thing. Now, amazing. These are all the facts which just blows me away. But the very one important fact which is very important is how to optimize the function of this brain, how to get to that super brain state, how to have that superhuman state. Everything is possible, everything can happen, and my job is to bring and show the live brain post some exercises, post meditation, post some spiritual practices. And Val, this is our first ever endeavor to welcome a lot of faculties. You are one of them. To welcome Santiago Brand from Neuromind Lab in Singapore, Dr. Mehta from India, a person from Canada, and we are all going to have this wonderful meeting where we just discuss about going beyond. What is going beyond? Doing more with the less efforts, doing best with the limited capabilities, expanding those abilities, understanding who I am as a person and what I can contribute. So there's going to be a lot of facets of science, spirituality. So well, why don't you talk about what is your session going to be? And we have invited, I think there's a ton of people flying in from, there's people flying from Qatar, there's people coming from India, there's people coming from Philippines, Mexico. So tell me, what is your session going to be? And by the way, guys, I'm also hosting and moderating this entire session. It's all going to be a 1.5 days retreat, starts at 9 o'clock, 9th of December. It's an boarded retreat, which means you come, you stay with us. It's a beautiful beach resort and you spend time. We all spend time together. We learn about this wonderful magical brain and our existence spiritually. We question ourselves. I mean, there's nothing about religion, guys. It's all spiritually. How do we, what is the evolution like? What are the different practices? We learn from each other. So over to you, Val, about your session, your topic.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction and your words. And this space right now is as close as reality as it gets. I was a couple of minutes, like 1 or 2 coming in late because I just finished an inner dance session outdoors. I'm in the Philippines in one of the most amazing islands here, Boracay. Not planned, but it was phenomenal. And they were just having all the breakthroughs and all of that. So I am like sweaty, but filled with the energy to share with you all that inner dance. Really, it's a before and after. It really is a session so therapeutic, and it's going to go so much in alignment, because first we're hearing all our different experts, including what you have to share. And the inner dance, as its name says, it's an inner dance of the soul and your heart. Should you allow it to? When you're there, we stop the judgment. We invite you to stop the judgment, to stop those inner voices that don't allow you to fully surrender to that moment. Because in life, Dr. Sweta, you know about this. How many people stifle their emotions, their energies, because somebody's going to say something, because you don't want to be a burden to somebody. And it's funny because I brought you into spirit. My friends here know about your work because I've told them about your work. And when I said it's like putting up, like being the plunger of your emotions. That's what I said. And my friend says, oh, it's like Dr. Sweta. So you're the plunger of the brain, and I'm the plunger of the emotions and the heart. It really does this work. And it's the frequencies and the sounds that has to do with the music that allows your brain and your spirit to go to every single corner of your soul, to be able to do that release of all that is no longer needed. But more than getting it out, feeling you need to get it out of your system, it's more allowing to be your energy recalibrated, because anything we want out is going to persist, as you know. So it's just allowing that energy to flow and recalibrate. In an inner dance session, you can very well, I'm actually doing a video that we'll have ready to release next week, when I'm super pumped up about it, to understand the science of inner dance. But you can have a perfectly just calm trip, because we are blindfolded, we're laying down. But then if your body tells you to sit up, you sit up. If you need to stand up, if it's whatever your body and the energy of your body wants you to do. So in a session, you can have people literally crying their eyes out, or laughing they're hysterically, or nothing, or dancing. It's the contrast of emotions that we allow them to be, that you finally in a safe place. And of course, the elevation of energy of others is a magnet to the environment that we are setting. So I'm not going to spoil and go in depth about this, because I want to talk about our other colleagues that are coming. And I was saying before you came that I have been blessed to really be with, in so many countries, with so many type of workshops and retreats. But I have never, and I'm not saying this because I'm going to be part of it, and I'm not saying this because I love you. I do love you, and I am happy to be part of it. But I'm serious that this event that you have put together, that you have orchestrated, has me more excited than when I was a little girl and Santa Claus was going to show up. I mean, I just feel like it's the change that we all are waiting for, to understand the bridge between science and spirituality. You know, we keep saying, oh yeah, I'm so spiritual, and oh yeah, the brain. But this is a bridge and a connection, a connector, so we can fully be living with more grace, ease, happiness. And I'm just in awe of this program. Perhaps we can share a little bit of what our colleagues are going to be talking about, to get people excited, because we only have a couple of spaces left. And this
Yes,
is a trip. I was telling
absolutely.
my friend, even if I wasn't part of this, I would have taken 17 flights to get to this because I know what it's
So
those that are going to be there. I know.
thank you. Well, I think our seats were absolutely full, but then because of the request, we have opened up 5 or 7 more slots. We want to make it more intimate. We want to make it that learning experience to be heightened. And as you were talking, you know, the science fact, which is striking me here is, I'm sorry, I'm a scientist, but I also am trying to figure that bridge out. So what happens is E is equal to MC square. We all know this Einstein's famous equation. So whatever is in the energy body, in the energy state, actually translates into the material state. Or so essentially whatever is your thought patterns, the emotional state, the state of mind is actually what will manifest you. Whatever you're talking about manifestation, I mean, manifestation is a big word, but any simple thing such as even making an action happen, doing something, starts with that energy. So it's going to be a wonderful mix where we will talk. And as Val was talking, we have some fantastic other faculties. I am personally going to be taking you through the journey of the human consciousness map. How is the human consciousness and energy actually translated into the physical artifact which we can see in the brain or in the body? Many years back, there was a famous professor called Emoto. Now, Emoto's experiment was very simple. He just took a glass of water and started to talk positive, love, good words, kindness. And then in the second set of glass of water, he started to abuse that water, talk bad words, unkindness, violent behavior, approach. And then both the waters were actually studied inside the microscope. I urge you to see the Emoto's experiment and the microscope, and you will see the difference in the crystals. In the first set of the water, the crystals were beautiful. There was wonderful geometry, wonderful structures, and in the second, it was all broken, which goes to prove the scientific point that water is nothing but an H2O, which is nothing but a molecule, nothing but an atom, but atom also has energy inside, and you can actually make a change in that physical structure just by the words you speak, by the energy that you give, by the actions that you do. So these are some of the classical example of bridging, and many more examples which we will show. Actually, we are going to have live helmets so that you can see your brain live. It's called the quantitative EEG. So for example, if I'm breathing a certain technique, and I'm going to show my personal scans from the lab and the experiments that we have been doing. If you are breathing in a certain pattern, your brain waves are different. If you're breathing in a certain pattern, your brain waves change. And all that I'm going to show you live. So the best part is Santiago is going to join us from Singapore. He's the founder of the Neuromind lab, and he's a peak performance expert. So he actually teaches the coaches and the athletes and leaders and executives for high performance. But what he's going to be with us is to bring all those instruments and showcase this live functioning of the brain. And that is my whole purpose. Once you see it, you believe it. Once you believe it, you change it. Once you change it, you change for good. So you have to be, I would say, curious to understand that space and to understand how the entire brain science and the spiritual science works. So I again invite you. There's a very special session, amazing special session, which is going to be about the neurochemistry of love. We all know love has varieties and all that, but I'm going to speak 15 minutes exclusively what really is happening in the circuits of the brain when we fall in and unfortunately sometimes fall out of love as well. So we will be talking about that as well. We have one amazing session about the primal circuits. So we all have evolved. We have evolved from the creepy crawly creatures to mammals, in fact apes and all. We know that they are our ancestors, to this human cortex. So what are those primal circuits which are still active? Anger, frustration, jealousy, unkindness, inhuman qualities, etc., and how we have evolved into this amazing rational, non-judgmental or discriminative superhuman being, or the cortex or neocortex. There are many versions, varieties, whatever you want to speak. So we will be taking you to that journey. So primal circuits will be spoken by the cognitivist and the perceptionologist who is going to be with us. I can't even speak that, it's a tongue twister. The perceptionologist who is also going to be with us. That's the session. And the third very interesting session would actually be, we are going to build one small chamber inside which you will do the meditation. Now the energy what builds out in that chamber would be studied through the live brain scans and compared to a non-contained or a non-constrained space. So this session is going to be led by Dr. Smita Prabhakar. As we speak, she's also doing some experiments where she's not sleeping for a while, and then she's trying to see what changes are happening in the brain. How is the brain responding to her drives or to the essential, I would say, fight, flight, freeze responses, etc. So we're going to do a lot of stuff which we ourselves have actually been practicing and actually been studying. So it is going to be a very unique experience that we are going to bring forth into this retreat. And by the way, guys, getting Val was not easy with her dates and with her slots and booked. Getting Santiago, who is only working with top athletes and leaders, they've all come because they're all my dear friends. So I would request that please take this opportunity to attend in person. This entire thing cannot be possible online, as you know. In fact, today, Val, as we speak, there is a research which is released from, if I'm not mistaken, a wonderful paper which has come from a university in US, which says that brains were studied live when a person is doing Zoom versus when the person is chatting and interacting. And there was a difference in the various circuits which happened when it was Zoom. So all the social interactions, the discrimination and all was actually to the lowest point in the Zoom interaction versus a live social interaction. So these are some of the amazing bits of researches that we will bring forth to you in this event. I think Lubna, thank you. We love you too. Lubna is also going to join us as an inauguration. She is working with me at Gargash Hospital, an amazing person, again, a dear friend. So we invite all of you on this wonderful journey with me, Val, Santiago, and Dr. Mehta. And one last session, which is a surprise session. It is going to be a super brain panel, Val. I don't think so you are also aware about it, but we are going to bring some of the top experts. I am not going to name them, but one of them is a young girl, 15 years old, who has written 5 books. The one other person is a person under whose name the biopic, a movie has been released, an amazing philanthropist who wants to feed 10 million people, again, a very dear friend. And we are going to bring one other person, which I would still keep it a surprise, but these are the super brains. And we will be having a panel talking about why have they done what they have done, why and what makes their brains tick to an extent that what we are not doing. So I would love to have these live showcase brains to you. And this also carries forward, Val, to our project of League of Legends, where we invite all the top CEOs, top leaders, top human beings, top people who have done and given their life into something, and we will study their brains live. And this is my passion. This is everything about me, as everybody knows, is all about the brain. And I often say I'm not just a plumber, so my job is not to fix the broken brains, but to help you move into the journey by understanding your brain. So over to you, Val, and thank you again for joining in this.
I want to say, somebody pinch me, please. I mean, seriously, this is what happens. First of all, I love the combination now. The universe uses us. I mean, I have studied the brain and a lot through you as a neurolinguistic programmer. I read about it and I love it. But you have your forte to the brain, I have the forte to the heart, and we combine and we make magic happen. And I love that, because we're tapping into that space, and there needs to be a balance of those. So it works perfectly for those that are going to be there to experience these two places to be, the brain and the heart, and how much you have to be in the brain and the heart, why, how, all these questions that we want to be in a space to find your own truth and to learn the science of it. Because depending where you were brought up culturally, they tell you, at least the Latinos, and I think it's also for your culture, Dr. Sweta, it's like, for me, it's like, do not share the heart. Like, be careful, you will be crushed, you will be suffering. And you were raised, or in the other way, only use your brain or you will suffer. And so it's all these paradigms and all this information that we are here to change the programs. And how better to do it than to come to this retreat where data is being presented, where any of us that we continue to study, we continue to go to courses and read the books, is nothing going to change or shake you until you're in the room feeling and seeing this data, that your brain, how it's operating, the changes will happen. And so my question is, you watching now or later, how much are you willing to put into, how much does it cost for you to understand how you operate and work, to be able to live a blissful, joyous life and bring to you all that you want and are and is accessible to you, with whatever the cost is of this workshop? Is there even a number that you can put down to gain this wisdom and meet really cool people? Not because we're going to be there, it's really the environment and the people that have chosen to step into their power and be there. Is going to be a life-changing experience. And so we want to recommend It
The
resonates.
word, well, I think most of the times we don't consider these kind of events as expenses. That's sort of the diary that we put. But fortunately or unfortunately, the people who consider it as investments, the more you invest into understanding the self, understanding how the brain operates. Lubna was just commenting that she's managing 80 doctors, which is true. I was also doing at one point in time. Not easy at all. The doctors' brains are possibly the toughest brains to crack and to drill anything that you want. I mean, even onus goes to me as well. They're tough people. So what is it inside their circuits? How do each of the brain operates? How do we operate in the entire, I would say, in the sync, in unison of it? So these are investments, and it's a very, very small investment. In fact, the last 5 or 6 seats are exclusively on request, because we are already full in the retreat and the resort. But this is absolutely the request from international clients as well as some of the people here. It's 9th and 10th of December. Start sharp at 9 a.m. on the 9th, and we finish by noon on the 10th. And we will continue to have this as a Beyonder series on the WhatsApp. We will continue. We will not leave each other. We will keep learning from each other. We will continue these conversations post the retreat, because I personally feel, Val, and correct me if I'm wrong, it all started with my personal inquiry and my personal journey to who I am, what am I contributing to the world, why am I here as a brain expert, or what am I doing with the brain, etc. I think these are all fundamental questions where there is no switch, but it's a process. You know, it's an entire process. So what we are going to do right now for you is put step by step these discovery processes. In fact, that reminds me of one wonderful session which we are going to have, and this session is called non-invasive cognitive surgery. So we are going to dissect your thoughts and your circuits, but without doing the surgery. And Dr. Mehta has done to me. I mean, we have been associated with researchers since the time he was working with IIM in Ahmedabad and in IIT. But this is a long research that we have been collaboratively doing, and some amazing facts. The PTSD, the traumas of the past, you're not able to move on into a certain thing. You're stuck, as Val said early on. You cannot move beyond a certain point. There is something which is locked within. You have the potentials, but it's not manifesting. You have everything sorted, but things are not moving. So these are the things which we will do it in that night session. In fact, we were joking, why do we want to do it at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Val? And we know that the melatonin is the hormone, which is the truth, sort of a truth hormone. So we want people to speak the truth, and because that allows us. So we have also arranged the programs in a very scientific manner. The very first ice breaking will be taken by me, which is going to be called the peekaboo with your mind. And we're going to bring out some amazing stuff inside your mind as well. So that's it for today, I think, Val. And we invite everybody to join us in UAE, in person, in Al Quwain, at the resort called Barracuda. DM me or Val. We can also send the invite here. Val, I think we can post the entire invite, or how you lead, because you are the leader with this Instagram. So thank you again for doing this together.
Thank you so much. And we wait for all of you. And really, this is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. Just take action, because there's only a few seats left, and you're going to have a community that you continue to work and evolve in this area that pretty much rules your entire life. So what are you waiting for to join us in Dubai this December 9th and 10th? Thank you, Dr. Sweta, and I know we'll be talking soon. And thank you those that join us live, and thank you for those that will hear us later.
And we are going to post this on the Val's as well as my Instagram. So catch us live. I mean, not on live, but to reach out to us. More than happy to know about you and your work as well. See you then. Until then, goodbye.
Adios.
Adios.